हेलो गाइस एंड वेलकम टू माय यूट्यूब चैनल मरीन एक्सपर्ट। आज हम पढ़ेंगे नॉक्स रिडक्शन टेक्निक के बारे में। ये क्वेश्चन बहुत ही फ्रिक्वेंटली पूछा जाता है क्लास 2 एंड क्लास 4 ओरल दोनों में ही। सो वी विल हैव अ लुक एट द नॉक्स रिडक्शन टेक्निक्स, बट बिफोर स्टडिंग अबाउट द नॉक्स रिडक्शन टेक्निक वी विल हैव अ लुक एट हाउ नॉक्स मेजरमेंट इज done on board ship and on test bed. So we will have a look at the basics. So what is it? What is NOx? Basically, it is a very simple question, but when surveyor asks you due to the pressure, we are sometimes not able to recall the answer. So that is why I have included this. So basically, NOx is NO and NO2, that is nitrogen oxide and nitrogen dioxide. Those are the two components of the NOx. So why NOx reduction? So why we are talking so much about the NOx? Uh, why the emphasis? Why IMO is making so many regulations to reduce the NOx and SOx pollution? So NOx has direct and indirect effect on the human health. So why NOx reduction is asked by one of the surveyor in the Calcutta MMD. So it can cause breathing problem, headaches, chronically reduced lung function, eye irritation, loss of appetite, and corroded teeth. So we do not have to recall all of these points. Even if you will remember one or 2 point or 3 point, that is good enough. So indirectly, it can affect the human by damaging the ecosystem they rely on in water and on land. So nitrogen oxide family can react with the ammonia, VOCs and other compound to form PM 2.5 pollution that easily penetrate into the sensitive and deep part of the lung, causing respiratory diseases. And it also causes acid rain. Basically what happens when nitrogen oxide react with the water, it forms HNO3, and when sulfur dioxide, that is SO2, react with water, it forms H2SO4, so that is acid rain. So that is harmful for our environment. So these are some of the points. Because of these points that we have to study about the NOx reduction. So this is the diagram I am sure you must have seen earlier. So we are not going in detail in this diagram, but it is here just to show you that from 2000 to 2060, from IMO tier 1 to IMO tier 3, we have almost 80% reduction in the NOx. So you can see that IMO is working very hard to reduce the pollution by NOx and SOx. So these are the values that you have to remember. So here, if your engine is RPM is below 130, then these are the values of the NOx that your engine has to follow in tier 1, tier 2 and tier 3. And if your engine is above 2000 RPM, then these are the values. So here you can see that from 3.4 to 1.9, around 80% reduction is there. So that is the index of NOx technical code. So one of the surveyor ones are what are the content of the NOx technical code. So from here we can see that there are 7 chapter and 8 appendix in the NOx technical code. So you don't have to go in deep. Even if you remember the topics, that is general surveyor certification, it will help you. So just go through it once. It will help you. And now we will see what are the NOx measurement method on board ship. So why we require to measure NOx on board ships? So what happen once you will get EIAPP certificate and IAPP certificate? That means your engine is compliant with the NOx requirements. So why we have to test again? So the thing is, like once the engine is installed down the time, like after 10 or 20 years, if your engine is still complying with the NOx technical code, so that is why we have to have some method to make sure that your engine is still complying with the NOx technical code. So basically there are three methods to check on board. The one is parameter check method, second one is amplified measurement method, and third one is direct measurement and monitoring method. So in this we have two methods, continuous monitoring method and spot check method. So before studying about onboard method, we will have a look at the test bed method. So in test bed method, we have cycle, various cycle is there. We have E2 cycle for main engine and we have D2 cycle for the auxiliary engine. So basically these are the cycle that we followed during the test bed method. So there is a misconception. If somebody asks you at what value NOx is calculated, we generally answer that at MCR or at 85% MCR NOx is calculated, but it is not so. From here you can see that you have to run the engine at 25% MCR, 15%, 50% MCR, 75% MCR and 100% MCR, and then we have weighing factor. So we will calculate the weighted average of these values and we will see what is the value coming. If it is below your NOx requirement, then it is fine. Otherwise, you cannot install the engine on board ship. And this is the D2 cycle. Here also you have to run the engine for 10%, 20%, 50%, 75% and 100%. We will calculate the weighted average value and based on the values given by NOx technical code, we will see if our engine is complying with the code or not. This is the formula that is used to calculate the NOx emission of your ship. So surveyor do not basically ask this formula, but if you want to study this, you can go to the NOx technical code and there you can study this formula. We will not go into that. So onboard measurement method. Uh, First of all, we have parameter check method. So this is widely used method, parameter check method, because uh, there is no extra cost involved in this. So owners do like this method. So the basic philosophy behind this parameter check method is like once when the engine is installed on your ship, it complies with the NOx technical code. And if you do not make any changes or in the value, or if you do not change any spare part, so it should still comply with the NOx technical code. So that is the simple philosophy. So we must know we must know that the engine part that contribute to the NOx emission modification and adjustment to these part must be as per the maker guideline. So basically, if you change a fuel nozzle, you have to make an entry, or if you are changing the fuel pump cam lead, or if you are making any adjustment in the rack, or if you are doing any other adjustment. So a window is given by the manufacturer. You cannot go beyond this window because if you will go beyond that window, your engine will not be compliant with the NOx technical code. So we have to keep that in mind. So during any annual, intermediate or renewal survey, air pollution prevention certificate, these record and engine parameters are checked by the class surveyor. The International Air Pollution Prevention Certificate is endorsed or renewed on the basis of this verification by the class surveyor. So every engine has to have a NOx technical file. So if you have one main engine and three auxiliary engine, then you will have four uh, NOx technical file, each each for one engine. So every marine diesel engine shall have a technical file as required, which identify the engine component. So these are the engine component. If you are changing this component, if you are changing any setting that is mentioned in this, then you have to make an entry. So once surveyor asked where you make the entry, uh, somebody answered that we make the entry in the NOx technical file. So the thing we have to notice here that we do not make any entry in the NOx technical file because it's a statutory document and we are not allowed to make any changes in that NOx technical file. So where we make entry in the record book of engine parameter. So that is the thing that you have to remember, that any entry we have to make in the record book of engine parameters. So if you are using this method, then you have to have a record book of engine parameter. A parameter check method if you are using, then you have to have this record book of engine parameter. So after that comes the simplified measurement method. Simplified measurement method is like if somebody comes on board your ship, like if PSC comes, they have a equipment and they calculate, they take the smoke sample from the engine and that will give them the value of NOx emitting from your ship. So a 10% allowance is given. They basically check the NOx value with the test bed values and 10% allowance is given to the due to the climate condition, because test bed condition might be different from the actual condition your ship is at present. So cold or hot or dry or humid climate gives you the 10% allowance. So that is simplified measurement method. After that comes the direct measurement method. So direct measurement method is equipment is installed on your ship and it will continuously monitoring NOx from your engine. So it will showing you the value and it will also be recording these values in the recorder, and that has to be shown to the authorities if asked. If PSC asks you or surveyor asks you, then you have to show the record for the last 3 months. So if exhaust gas mass flow is to be determined in accordance with the carbon balance method in accordance with the appendix 6 of this code, then CO2 shall also be measured. Additionally, COHC O2 may be measured. After continuously measure method comes the spot check method. In spot check method, we have an option that we can switch on the equipment, measure the NOx value, record the NOx value, and after that we can switch off the equipment. So that is the spot check method. So if you are using this method, then you have to have maintain the record for the previous months. So this is the EIAPP certificate form. This is in the appendix 1 of the NOx technical code. So the thing here, you have to check that engine manufacturer, model number, serial number, and here the test cycle is mentioned, which test cycle is used for your engine. So if you want to check which test cycle is used on board your ship, you can go and check the EIAPP certificate. This is the supplement to the EIAPP certificate. Here these things are mentioned in the certificate: name, address of the manufacturer, place and engine build, date of engine build, and in next page we have this. So if you like this video, please hit the like button, subscribe my channel and share it with your friends. And in the next video we will study about the NOx reduction techniques.